Let's work on it. Hold on. Preparing, we're preparing. All right, we've got the Village of Sodas Point screen.
All right, now on the bottom tray, just click the Zoom icon again. You see where it should show? Yeah, just Zoom.
Yeah.
Now you're back up the Zoom screen and bottom left, start video.
Let's start. Oops, screen went away. Bottom left of which screen here? Sign in, meeting.
The Zoom, are you on the Zoom window?
Yeah, Zoom just came up in the meeting. Wait a minute.
All right, Zoom meeting should see participants, share screen, record, all that stuff on the bottom left, unmute and start video.
Okay, I've got 3 or 4 people here. So it looks like I've got you're the Village of Sodas Point.
Yep.
I got 2 of you.
Okay.
And Jeremy Foss and Hinsman.
Yep, and then point to the bottom of that screen.
Yeah.
And do you see in the bottom left unmute or mute?
Yeah, mute. Yep.
And then to
Yep.
all right, hit the start video button.
There we
go. Yeah, you're good.
Good to go.
You're live on YouTube, and you're all set.
Okay.
And then your folders you should have the folders right there with you.
Yeah, I got it. Yep.
All right. Hinsman, I talked to Hinsman today, talked to Eibler, and talked to Lycunka, so they're all aware of the meeting. I'm gonna double check Majors knows about the meeting, or has the work meeting on right now. We had some trouble the other day. Knows about it, same sure to be on. And then same Rick Post, he knows he's good. And I'll double check with just make sure they're all ready to go.
Okay. Good enough.
All right, see you.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Yes.
I said it seemed nice, and he said, right? Oh, okay, so, you know.
Ladies, hello.
No cane.
Okay. You're killing me, but no pain. So last week, Tom, there was a guy in my dad's graduating class who passed away. He'd been living at Parkwood in Macedon for quite a while. His name's Stewie Smith. And Dad said that your dad would probably know him.
Okay.
So that brought up your dad and the car stories. And
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've heard more about that 40 Ford convertible.
yes, that was everybody's biggest jealousy, I guess.
I hear about you. Why didn't you say that?
must have drank too much water.
Hey, Tom, can you
Yeah,
guys hear me? Oh, that was weird. Your sound wasn't working there for a second.
You weren't talking.
yeah,
Yeah, we were quiet.
we didn't want you to hear.
I just checked with the last applicant. Everyone knows how to zoom in. Diamond will be in person. Majors has got a laptop setting up now, so they should be on right on time. And then I'm just trying to get a hold of Rick Boast again.
Okay. Couple more minutes to go here. That water keeps coming up, doesn't it?
Mm,
Listen,
yeah,
doesn't take much.
yeah, Arnie's pumps would be running if they, I don't know if Martin's
Yeah,
run pumps in that building or not, but
see, it's almost right up over the metal ties he's got there along the sides, right to the top. And we just kind of judged it, that guy, it's got the dock down there in front of the old condos. They're tearing down,
yeah.
single dock,
Yep.
it's over.
Yep. And I didn't look, but I saw a picture on Facebook, the Margaretta Road launch dock is partway up the side and there was a heron standing on it. It was
Oh, a
pretty
heron
cool.
was on it?
Uh-huh.
A heron was walking down the beach day before yesterday. He's walking and he's looking around and he yelled big, did you see him?
Well, I don't know if it's the same one.
Oh, well, I think it probably is. It's the same guy. He always, this is his favorite time of year to walk. So he usually walks early in the morning, like between 7 and 8. Yeah. Last year, there were 3 of them. They walked down one after another.
Hello, evening. Take any seat you like. It's gonna be crowded.
Just here in the front.
All right. What's your name, sir?
Ronald Diamond.
Ronald Diamond, okay. Yeah, you're about ready to start here. Well, it's close enough to 7 o'clock. We'll get started. I'm Tom Johns. I'm the chairman of the zoning board for the village. With us tonight, we have Lori, Sue, Steve, Mark. Lynn is not here. Linda's our secretary, and Kevin, who's our CEO, is online with us. So if we have questions for Kevin, we can do that. We've got 3 cases tonight. Basically, everybody's here because they can't currently live with the village zoning laws the way they're written. And in most cases, they'd like an exception or some forgiveness on 1 or 2 dimensions. So we'll get started. The way we do this is we'll introduce the case, let the applicant tell us what he wants to do. We then open it for public comment, either people present or people on the Zoom call. And then from there, we'll close it to comment and talk amongst ourselves and hopefully come up with a decision. So we got 3 cases tonight, and Guy, are you muted? I was going to start with Guy. This is a review on our part, and this is to change the work order for Guy Robusto to change his approved 10 by 12 shed 4 feet from the east property line and 20 feet from the break wall, to change the orientation to 18 feet from the break wall due to existing barriers and allowing 4 foot on the side when 5 is required. And we had already approved that. So Guy, can you talk to us? You need to unmute there. You're muted, Guy. Can you unmute your Zoom call? It
About
should be-
now?
There you go. Now you are. Now we got you.
I heard
Okay,
you.
go- Yep, go ahead. Tell us why you want to reorient the shed.
Well, because I was trying to put the foundation in and there were some huge roots from them big, huge trees. And they prevented me from going any farther towards the one way opposite of the fence. And so I ended up with the slab that's 3 foot from the fence instead of 4 foot. And so to me, I'm proposing two options, leave it where it is, but it would be 3 foot, or switch it sideways and then go 2 foot that way.
Okay, so if you switch it sideways, then it will be 4 feet from the fence?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Okay,
But if you
any,
leave it.
go
3
ahead.
foot,
Yeah.
if you-
I agree.
But-
All right, so at this point, we'll open it to public comment. There's almost nobody here. We've got people on Zoom call. Anybody on the Zoom call like to comment on this review of Guy's plan for his shed?
Tom, I had one neighbor in favor. I asked for it to come in writing and I didn't get it in writing, but I had one neighbor give me verbal in favor for it.
Okay, which side of the property is that, Kevin?
Hickey, I think it is, to the
Hickey,
To the
okay.
to the right. Well, Pitty's on the left if you're facing the property to the east. Hickey's on the right to the west.
Okay. Yeah, no problem with it.
He had no problem with it moving 2 feet or having 2 feet shifted to the south.
Okay. All right, then, if we have no other public comment, we'll close it to public comment and discuss it amongst ourselves. Comments from the board?
So even though the slab is 3 feet from the fence, the shed will be 4 feet from the fence,
That's my understanding.
right?
Correct.
Yeah, you said
Yep,
correct.
okay.
So it won't be on the slab?
It will be. I'll have to add 2 feet to the other, towards the water, and then it'll just sit a foot off the slab, but be 4 feet from the fence.
Gotcha, okay. And right now, the slab is
3
roughly
feet.
20 feet from the break wall, and you're gonna put another couple feet to the south, and it'll be 18. Am I understanding right?
That's what you think would be better than leaving it 3 feet. Yeah, that's what would happen. Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
You're voting tonight. I should have said that.
Yeah.
You're ad hoc in voting.
If the neighbor is okay with it.
Steve? All right. Lori?
I just want to make sure that I understand this. So
You
the
see this
orientation,
little
yeah, I got it. The orientation was 10
Kind of going east and west?
and 12 going north and south.
Yes. That's
Okay.
my understanding.
The way the shed, the shape of the shed though, doesn't show, that doesn't indicate that because it's got longer going east and west.
Right, and that's what he got approved for.
Right,
So now he just
okay,
wants
so
to
he
turn
wants
it.
to
So
turn
The
it.
dotted one must be this.
So the 12-foot is north-south.
Yep.
And then it's east-west for 10,
That's my
with 4 feet with 4 feet off the fence.
Right.
Yeah, I
So-
know.
I was hoping those dimensions would be inside so that I could fit my kayak, which is exactly just under 12 feet. So it'd be 12 foot plus the 2x4s on both sides.
Oh, so 2x4s? I don't understand that.
Inside dimension versus outside dimension.
Inside so he can get his kayak in there. That's what I hear.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
I'm okay with that, yeah.
All right. Somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve a shed which will be 4 feet off the fence on the Hickey side of the house, on the west side of the property. And it will be 12 feet deep north and south and 10 feet wide east and west.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Yep, the shed will be 4 feet off the fence on the west side of the property. It will be 12 feet deep, north and south, and 10 feet wide, east and west. Right, Guy? 10
Yep.
feet wide, east and west, 12 feet wide, north and south, interior dimensions,
Correct, yes.
and 4 feet off.
Yep.
Okay,
And 18 feet off the brick wall?
Yep.
And
Because-
resulting
because of the
18
extra-
feet off the brick.
okay.
What
can
are
I-
the
Oops.
outside dimensions, so?
Well, if it's only gonna be a 2x4 shed, it'll be 4 inches. So it'll be outside dimensions, it'll be 8 inches wider, Guy, 4 inches on each side, your 2x4s.
That's correct.
So 8 inches. So it's really gonna be 10, 8, and 12. 8.
You'd rather me frame it with 2x6s because I can do that too.
Well, we're trying to keep it down, not make it bigger.
Okay, so will it be less than 4 feet then?
Let's
Be 4 feet from the
You're out.
property.
Still be 4 feet off.
Yeah,
the
it'll
fence.
still be off 4 feet off the fence.
Make up the difference going the other way and not towards the property line for the inside dimension and outside or whatever.
Say that again?
The outside of the shed will be 4 feet from the fence, one
Yeah.
way or another.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay, somebody want to second that motion?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Those against, okay, it's unanimous. Okay, Guy.
Thank you. Have a good day. Appreciate your time.
Two.
Yep. Okay, let's, the second one tonight is Mr. Diamond. And he lives at 8387 Wickham. And this is for a new building permit. This is a 24 by 16 storage shed. 5 feet from the property line where 7.5 feet are required. The other dimension is, okay, it's 13 feet off the back line, so that one's all right. Would you like to tell us what you want to do and why you can't live with a 7.5 feet?
The back line will be 13 feet from the property line. And on the side, I talked to Mr. Stokes this afternoon. He's gonna send me a written agreement that I can go down to 5-foot variance. And I need a shed to more or less store my boat in the winter, plus my side-by-side. Probably the kids are gonna have kayak and stuff. And I just need more storage. My one-car garage in the house is not quite adequate. I want to put a loft in. Storage up above. I have a freestanding cat kennel in the backyard, and I'm going to incorporate that into the shed and remove the freestanding cat shed.
I saw that shed this afternoon in your backyard, but I wonder what you had. It's pretty cool. I didn't get too close.
Actually, there's 4 cats back there, 2 girls and 2 boys.
Oh, okay.
do they go in and out through your back door? Is that how you get?
No, they're a little cage is back there. I got a little split in half a cage. They each have 8 by 8, I believe. And just standing on the ground, freestanding, they are caged in. Can't let them run loose.
Okay, at this point, we'll open it to public comment. Since there's no one else here live, is there anyone on the Zoom call that would like to comment on Mr. Diamond's variance for his shed? All right. Here, don't see anyone coming forward. You can still come forward if you want, but we'll discuss it amongst ourselves here. I guess the big question is for us, Ron, is why you can't live the 7.5 feet on that east side. That'll be what our questions are about tonight. Most of us understand why we need sheds or why we need extra storage, but I guess that's my concern with this one.
Well, I wanted to keep where the side of the house is. My house is parallel with Wickham Boulevard. My property goes at a slant from the west in the front to the east in the rear. And I wanted to keep it more or less the side of the west side of the utility shed somewhat parallel with the east side of my house. I didn't have too much problems getting my boat down in there.
Okay.
If it was farther to the west, gives me kind of an angle that I'd have to. It's tricky enough just backing in there right now.
Okay. The tree that's back there stays or goes?
Pardon?
That tree that's in the back, that stays or goes? Isn't there a tree right kind of back where that shed's going?
There's a small little pine tree about this big, but the other trees are behind that. They're gonna
Behind that.
stay.
Okay, all right.
Is the pine tree going?
Back in.
It can actually stay. It's.
Yeah,
pretty
I
close
did-
to the fence.
Yeah.
Okay. Comments?
I wanted to ask about the, you say that the siding is going to be metal. What kind of metal are you talking about?
Regular metal siding. I'm gonna try to get it the same color as the house or as close to that as possible. So it'll blend in and look nice in the neighborhood. In fact, the construction guy was just there. Please, I'm a little late. I was showing him what I want done and he's taking all the information. Gentleman by the name of Jeff. He's doing Bruce Gary's garage.
Okay.
Same gentleman.
Sue, any concerns?
No, I was there this afternoon and talked to them, so I understood what
Okay.
they wanted to do.
Steve? No? No questions. No? Okay. Got a quiet crew tonight. In that case, I want to make a motion. Someone?
So moved.
Okay, so you're gonna make a motion to accept it as
Present.
prepared? Presented. Okay, and someone second that?
I'll second it.
Steve's gonna second that, okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimously. Okay, Ryan, you talk to Kevin.
Okay.
And he'll tell you what the next step is. Okay?
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you all. And you all have a nice evening.
If you-
Yeah, you do. Okay. Our third item tonight is Mr. Majors, are you there?
Yes,
Okay. And this is at 8642 Greg Street. And he would like to place a temporary dock, 6 foot wide by 60 feet long, with an 8x8 landing, making it L-shaped. And this will be the second dock on 130 feet of frontage. And the reason he's here, I believe, is because he needs 150 to have second dock. Okay, you want to tell us what you want to do and why you need a second dock?
sure. I basically want it as a communal dock for any visitors to come visit any of the neighbors. Currently, everybody's dock is full of boats and no one can come visit. They come float by and say hi, but nobody can stop. And, you know, I've heard people express some interest in doing so. And it would be nice to have boaters stop and have a drink or, you know, stay for a couple hours. I wouldn't suggest anybody staying overnight. There would be no boat lifts on the dock. There would be no jet skis on the dock. It's strictly for visitors only. I know I'm a little short on the frontage. I believe, besides myself, I think Dave Williamson maybe possibly has more frontage. And he also has several docks. So that's why I'm here this evening, asking the board to give me permission to put the permanent or the temporary dock in.
Okay. All right, I see you've, it looks like it'd be 20 feet off the line, so you've respected the littoral rights of the neighbors.
And oh, one more thing I forgot to say, the dock does come with the L, that came with the house. I'm not partial to that either way. I mean, if I can use it, great. If the board suggests that I can't have that and it just needs a dock straight out, I'm certainly okay with that as well. I could probably, you know, have boats on each side then that can come visit. More than one boat can come visit. But it's strictly for anybody east or west of us, or that would need to use the dock. It's an unselfish move. It's just something that would be nice to have.
Okay, we'll open it to public comment. I see we've got 2 or 3 people here on the Zoom call. There's nobody present. At this point, we can open it to public comment if somebody'd like to jump in and give their opinion.
I will, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Corey Smith, and I live on Gregg Street, and I personally see no reason why you can't have a temporary dock. It's actually my understanding that the town doesn't really control temporary docks. If it was a permanent dock, I would understand, but the fact that it's temporary and it comes in and out, there's a lot of people on Gregg Street that have temporary docks, numerous temporary docks. So as long as it doesn't become a permanent thing and he brings it in and out, I see no problem with it personally.
Well, I don't think we differentiate, Corey. Even though they go in and out, they're still permitted, and Kevin does the permitting for us. So even though they look temporary and they come in and out, they're still considered a dock. So, but
so the town does control temporary docks, because it was my understanding that the town does not have any say in temporary docks, that they've given it up. And if there's a problem with a dock, then the temporary docks are a civil matter.
Kevin, are you on with us?
Yeah, I can get clarity on it. We don't issue the yearly permits like we used to for residential docks. Temporary docks that go in and out every year. The reason we gave those up was it wasn't feasible to go out and inspect those every year. So we were just signing off on something we couldn't look at. So temporary docks, we don't issue a permit for, but what we do is we give the rules, and they have to follow the same rules as a permanent dock. So 10 foot from either side, 2 foot minimum width, 8 foot maximum width, with 60 foot maximum length. You're only allowed 1 dock per 75 feet. If we have a complaint or if we know about an issue, so like this one, Mike came in and asked me about a second dock, it has to follow the same rules that the regular docks and moorings law follows. Because if we get a complaint about it, we have to go out and inspect and write a violation letter, just like we would for a permanent.
Oh, okay. Well, that does clarify. I guess I had a misunderstanding.
Okay.
How does one speak? Hello? How do I speak?
What about attaching? Like,
just
are you allowed to attach?
And we'll let everybody in. Go ahead, Corey.
So are you allowed to attach a temporary dock to a permanent dock? That, like, let's say the temporary dock section is 20 feet long, and you're within your littoral lines, well within your littoral lines. Can you do that? Is that something that would be allowed?
I would have to review it with the code and see the actual section in front of me. Like, I'd have to have a situation. Like, I don't want to answer it blindly without knowing the situation, without knowing the section of code.
Probably the head of the committee. I don't know how to say anything.
It's Harriet. We can hear you now,
Just-
Harriet.
Just a minute. Harriet.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep,
Thank,
Yeah,
thank
just a minute.
you for
Corey, are you
clarifying
done?
that, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Yeah, if I can meet up with you and we can go over a specific situation if you want.
Okay. All right. Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Corey. Okay, Harriet, you're up.
I'm up. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm about 3 or 4 cottage. My husband and I, we have a cottage 3 or 4 down from the property you're talking about. And I thought they already had 2 docks, but you're saying they only have 1 currently.
Yes, they have one large permanent dock there right now.
Okay, but it seems like it's a very busy spot with all their boats and equipment. Another dock, temporary or not, with other boats coming in. It's like a mini marina, and their young kids swim around there. It just doesn't seem like a safe, what? Oh, yes. It doesn't seem safe for kids, and even I swim along the shoreline sometimes there. It doesn't seem, it seems like a safety issue to me, number one. And the other thing is that when he got permission to put his current dock in, for some reason, it looks like 2 docks to me down from where my cottage is. But he also puts these, they look like 2 train cars there. It totally blocks the west view. And they weren't mentioned when he appealed to this group to put his dock in and got permission for the dock. And he put extra pilings in. I don't know what that's about. But the big covered black things look like huge train cars or black buses that block the total western view from our cottage, which is only like 4 cottages away. Anyway, it's a concern. Our side of the loop is never, it's getting like busy. And I think safety issues are matter, but also the visual, to take away the view of all of us there. I mean, I guess it's legal, but I think it's not good.
Okay. Your comments are duly noted.
Thank you.
If you're done, we'll move on to anyone else that would like to make a public comment.
Okay, we've got.
Hello,
Yes.
can you hear me? My name is Glenda Hinsman.
Okay.
My property is 8644 Greg Street, to the east of Mr. Majors, facing the water. And I urge your zoning board to accept the decision of the planning board to deny Mr. Majors a temporary dock when he only has 130 feet and not 150 of the shoreline.
Okay. Are you?
Glenda, if you're done, then.
Your comment?
can I
Go ahead,
speak?
Tom.
Well, my comments are just general regarding 86, chapter 86. I'm Tom Pikunka. I live 2 doors east of the Majors property, right next door to Glenda Hinsman, and just west of Harriet Eber, Fred and Harriet Eber. Regarding chapter 86, and I can clarify some of those items. Chapter 86-4 defines boathouses, and Harriet mentioned these boat shelters. Now, a boathouse is defined as a storage or sheltering of a watercraft or any similar superstructure. A superstructure is defined as a structure built on top of something. 86-4 defines structure as any pier, wharf, dolphin, dock, weir, boom, breakwall, etc., and pilings are included. Here, Eber mentioned the multiple pilings that went in. And a superstructure is built upon a foundation, pilings, or a dock, In a boathouse, according to chapter 86-12, no boathouse or similar superstructure shall be permitted above the decks of docks, piers, or structures in the water. And superstructures are built on these pilings and docks, and they aren't allowed according to chapter 86-10. Boathouses are not allowed. And regarding temporary or permanent, chapter 86 doesn't differentiate between permanent and temporary docks. And regarding the comment about a 20-foot finger on a dock, if the dock was only 40 foot and you wanted to put a 20-foot finger, that would be allowed. But to put a 20-foot finger on a 60-foot dock, or a 10-foot finger on a 60-foot dock, or a 2-foot finger on a 60-foot dock is not allowed. Now, I'm just an engineer that understands codes. I don't have an official say, but I would urge the zoning board to enforce the village code, because regarding putting multiple docks in, you're allowed one dock per 75 feet according to chapter 86, causes congestion not only on the water, but causes congestion on the street. And specifically to the property at 8642, which is within 300 feet of a public access and a beach, I really think it is a safety concern. And like Harriet mentioned, she swims out there. She goes and she can swim across multiple residences in the back, and we could always see her and we could keep an eye on her. Neighbors could keep, my daughter could swim over to the public beach and we could watch her. With having these shelters, now this is specific to property 8642, those shelters are 32 foot by 12 foot by 9 foot, according to the name tag that blew into my yard. And those do block a view. Those two shelters, those two boat shelters, which aren't allowed in Sodas Point, have more square footage than my first floor of our house. So they're significant. They're superstructures. They're fastened to the dock. And I feel bad for Glenda, who has to live right next door to that and has her view. So now just imagine if I put up a shelter like that on the east side of Glenda, Glenda would have tunnel vision because she couldn't see out to the east, nor could she see to the west. And as it is now, I can't even see the west side of the bay, and Glenda can't even see Sodas Bay Heights from her property. And that's pretty well elevated. So, and I've heard that they're temporary, but the structure is not temporary. That's a superstructure that's bolted, it's on a foundation, and it's not allowed. So, furthermore, and I understand that the village doesn't enforce deed restrictions, but the development on Sandpoint has deed restrictions. And those deed restrictions say specifically that you does not allow boathouses not to exceed 6 feet in height above the established high water mark of Sodas Bay. And that's definitely in violation of the deed restriction. Now, a resident shouldn't have to go through a civil case to enforce something that's even in the village code. And I encourage that, this happened to get by because that property applied for a dock. They didn't, like Harriet mentioned, didn't talk about the boat shelters or boat houses that were going up, and they're built. I don't think it's a definite safety concern, and I don't think it should be allowed. Now, I've also heard that panoramic views are not in the village code, but I haven't heard that from this board, but I've heard it from another individual. But chapter 121-4 says fences shall not be constructed in excess of 4 feet in height that block the view of Sodus Bay or Lake Ontario from any adjoining property or parcel of land. So these structures block the view. So
Okay, Tom, I understand your frustration. Tonight, we're not really talking about the existing dock. We're talking about the ask for a variance to the dock laws to put in another dock. So I take it from your comments, you're against it, and we'll note that.
that'd be correct, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else public comment on this?
So just for clarification in regards to, I believe what Tom just said, and thank you for the clarification. So if the dock is 80 feet long, you cannot have a 10-foot finger on it. But if it's 50 feet long, you could have a 10-foot finger on it. Is that right, Kevin?
The only person who can answer that is actually me. I'm the docks and moorings inspector. I would bring the paperwork into the office and show me the situation. I'm not going to answer it on a here. This isn't the time during another person's application. So bring it to the office and we can discuss it there.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that the original submission on the planning board for that property was to have 2 docks. And the planning board said that they would only allow 60 feet, which is according to the code of chapter 86. And on the rebuttal side, I believe the installing contractor said, well, then I'll put a 120-foot finger across the front of that dock. And Kevin, your response to that was only 60 linear feet is allowed. So I don't understand the confusion. But 60 linear feet, 8 foot wide is allowed in the village code.
It's not confusion. It's inappropriate to talk about another application during an application. It's disrespectful to the applicant. We don't do that.
Okay.
All right, one final call for public comment. Okay, then we'll shut down public comment and discuss amongst ourselves. I don't know if anybody listened to the call last Monday, but the planning board did turn down his request. So if we were to pass it, we need a super majority to do that. So that was turned down. They did do a waterfront assessment form, and that's available if anybody would like to look at it.
I requested to see that before the meeting.
Did you?
I didn't get
Okay.
a copy of it.
One was done last time around when we applied for the other
For
dock.
the other dock. Okay. It is, I walked around down there today. It is a pretty crowded area, pretty congested. Spot he wants to put the dock appears to be the only open spot along that shoreline. And I guess I can see both sides of it if you want a dock for guests. Or if you're living there and it's nothing but docks and boats now, it is getting pretty congested. What do you guys feel?
I'm gonna play the Lori card and say there is the hardship.
Just remember, this isn't a variance. This is a special permit you guys are issuing. Not that it changes too much, but in the docks and moorings law, there is determination for special permit versus variance. Just don't call it a variance, because variance would go with the property forever. Special permit has different. It's not a special use permit. It's a special permit. It's a different thing.
But you still have to have hardship?
I believe so. Yeah, you would still want it, because otherwise, if you still need hardship. You're changing the law for somebody, but it's just a special permit. So it's different than a variance that stays on the property forever.
Yeah, there's several factors on this one.
Steve?
I kind of feel the same way here. That, you know, there isn't a real hardship here.
Just so, since we're talking about it, the special permit determination shall not issue a permit unless it shall first determine that the proposed use is so designed, located, or proposed to be located so as to protect the public health, safety, welfare, and convenience of the community. Now, the discussion about the access way and emergency use of the access, the discussion about kids swimming and Mrs. Elber swimming, talks about safety. The proposed use will not cause substantial injury to the value or beneficial use of other property in the vicinity or infringe the riparian rights. Proposed use will be compatible with the adjoining property and require such conditions as may be necessary to afford protection for such adjoining property. Proposed use will not impair navigational safety or unduly burden the free and open use of the waters. Well, that doesn't really come into play, although congestion, I guess. The proposed use conforms with all applicable requirements of this chapter. Seeker, logical, efficient, and economical provision of public services such as police and fire protection. So there's a lot of strikes there.
It's very congested. You have on his east, the neighbor has a dock that's right off the property line to his west. And then the lots 36 has a dock on the other side of his property. And and then he uses both sides of his dock because you've got those two big, huge structures. And it's very crowded right in that one section. I can't even imagine adding another dock that you'd be able to navigate in and out of between with the current setup right now between the neighbor's docks and his own dock. I think it would be very dangerous to allow another dock to go in that section.
Okay, I think we're pretty much where we need to be. Someone want to make a motion to accept the special permit as applied for?
I'll make a motion to accept the permit as special permit as presented.
Okay,
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor of accepting the permit as applied for, say aye. No ayes, all against?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay, so it's unanimously turned down. Mr. Majors, we've decided that it's just too crowded there and you cannot put the temporary dock in.
I understand. The one thing that really is confusing to me is I have such a big property, right? And most properties are 50-foot frontage. And if that's the case, there would be a dock at every 50-foot frontage. So I have 130, I have one dock. So if there was two houses here, you know what I mean? We'd have two docks and nobody'd say anything about congestion or anything else. You know what I mean? So it's kind of confusing to me, as well as Dave, Williamson having several docks compared to his frontage. So I'm just a little confused and not
Really, there's really two things there. In the case of Mr. Williamson, he has ample footage. He goes all the way around that point. In the case of the smaller lots, we've given permits for people for an under 75-foot lot in cases where they come and ask for it. So we've got a little bit of both. We've got small lots and huge lots out there.
Yeah.
But thank you for your application, but it's just too much to ask for us.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Yep, thank you. All right, we have some, that's it for our new applications for the week. We do have minutes for the last meeting. Linda. That,
Yes,
we circulated.
I sent them around, got several corrections, and then I think I sent around the correct.
Yeah, I saw those.
Version.
Everybody's okay with minutes from the
The,
last meeting?
4/20
Okay.
4/24/23, yeah.
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion to accept those as revised?
Some of,
Okay, second.
I'll second.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that was unanimous. Kevin, new business?
New business. I believe. Trying to think what I have coming up. I just took an application for something. I just looked at it and then I was in chaos that I told you about running out of the house or the office. I can't think of what it was.
Okay, so we'll probably have a meeting in 2 weeks.
Yeah, you for sure should.
Okay.
Mark, I delegated to Melanie today to call the Lettering Lounge and see what we can do to get our signs.
That's real.
I have not had time. I've been so backed up and busy. So Melanie's going to help me keep on top of it.
notice I didn't say anything. I was biting my tongue tonight.
I wasn't sure if you were going to come after.
No.
Kevin, did we issue a permit for one of my neighbors there on Fifth Street for a fence?
Which neighbor?
Bill?
No.
Well, you better stop and see him tomorrow.
He started a fence?
Looks like it to me.
Okay. I know he got unplaned wood. And
Something
I got told.
Yeah, we did a fence a long time ago.
For the side, though, wasn't
Yeah,
that?
the side.
That was good to go between them and
Between-
Jody and John.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I thought too. All right, but this is the backside, so.
Can I just add one thing before we finish?
Sure.
I just wanted to let people know that somebody wrote a request today asking for the minutes for the meeting we just reviewed the minutes for 4/24. Now, they haven't been posted, but this person's email said, as required by law, you should, and I don't post any minutes unless they've been corrected and approved. And this person made it like somehow we weren't keeping up with the regulations. and
Well, I
everything.
think, Kevin,
But you
correct me if I'm wrong, don't we make available the unedited minutes immediately if somebody needs them?
It's supposed to.
Yeah, if someone needs them, we make them available. I know the state had passed.
Okay, all right. I
We're supposed to
didn't know.
have something
I
within
just
2
thought,
weeks.
I'm not gonna these minutes.
Oh yeah, no, Linda, you're not doing anything wrong at all. People will always, the first email you get is everything you're doing is illegal. That's just the status quo for anything we do.
Okay.
It just
Open meetings.
people think it's going to get them quicker service. I will check with Matthew. I know the state passed a law a while ago during COVID that they wanted all meeting minutes posted within 2 weeks. Unfortunately, 2 weeks it's not feasible for most of us because we meet every 2 weeks. So it's tough. We just provide draft minutes. So if someone requests them, we send them out immediately. Like today, we sent out that request to that person right away, I believe. And same with any meeting.
4 minutes they wanted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's under the open meetings law. And it can, and you can provide unedited, you can provide the draft. But it is what is the open meetings for New York State, and that they changed a lot of that just recently.
Okay,
So
It's very hard to keep up with, but we're
didn't know.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So in the
Yeah,
future,
you
if
do
you do
draft.
get a request and we haven't,
it
you know,
marks as
sometimes it takes us a month by the time we
Yes,
revise
it
it a couple
does.
times.
Yeah,
So you can give them the or draft as opposed to the approved minutes.
Okay,
If somebody requests. I was going through Kevin, but
Okay,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I would go through staff here when you get that request.
okay,
So
Yeah,
that's-
so that
that's
should be
through
logged
code,
as
and
far
that's
as a.
you.
Yeah, they should be after you.
Yeah, anytime we release anything, we go through Tracy. Melanie and I both, actually all the departments, we go through Tracy because she's the records manager. So she does all the FOIL requests, everything. Even if I get an email for, I mean, you can email my phone if you wanted to. Everything that I do, anything we all do is public record. So you can email or you can request anything you want. And then it just goes through Tracy and Tracy gets whatever you need.
okay. All
Yeah.
right,
If
thanks.
someone ever emails you personally, just send it to Tracy and she'll handle it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else, anybody? Okay, motion to adjourn.
Some of,
All right, second.
I'll second.
All right, everybody in favor? Aye.
all right.
Unanimous. Thank you, everybody.
Have a good night, guys.